Okay, so we're really excited about today's show, and really excited. So on today's show, we have interior designer, TV host Lauren Makk. You've seen her on TLC's Emmy Award-winning Trading Spaces, A&E's Drill Team, and most recently as Home Lifestylist Host on FABLife. Her outlook centers on giving clients affordable luxury and incorporating each client's style while making their space reflect the client's style rather than the spaces filled with interior design trends. Calling herself your homegirl, the homegirl next door, which I thought was really cute. Lauren also specializes in luxury do-it-yourself. So,
hi! Hello, everyone! Thank you guys for having me today.
Oh my gosh, thank you for coming!
My pleasure.
Special shout out to Matt. Matt, you know who you are. Okay, so tell us something fun about yourself, like a fun fact about Lauren Makk. Who's Lauren Makk? What does she like to do?
Well, let's see. A fun fact about me is I actually started my entire television career answering an ad on Craigslist.
Really? Wow.
That's a fun fact that you probably might know. Speaking of social media and modern technology. Isn't that crazy?
Wait, no, you need to elaborate on that. So, okay. Because, like, usually when someone says, I was on Craigslist, it's like, I met, I don't know, it's just Craigslist can be kind of weird.
Right. So it has an interesting connotation, but actually, I was designing model homes for a design firm, a company that did all the models for the big builders. So we had like KB, Richmond American, the big name builders in the country. And it was becoming a little bit mundane for me at the time. And back in the day, we used to have a sidekick phone. Do you remember the sidekicks?
Oh, yeah.
It was like the first phone with the internet.
The ones that kind of...
Yeah, exactly. And one day at lunch, I was sitting there and I was like, let me just see what job opportunities are available in interior design. And I typed in interior design in Craigslist, and the first thing that popped up was an opportunity to audition for Trading Spaces. Isn't that crazy?
I'm like,
isn't that crazy? I know. Me neither. I don't think they do it much anymore.
Oh.
But at the time they did. And so
everyone's going to go on Craigslist.
Hey, I recommend it. I love that website because even then I did Trading Spaces and we would go to different cities across the United States, and I would buy furniture ahead of time or find cool, unique pieces. So I really have to say I love Craigslist for that reason only.
That is definitely a fun fact. I know. Super fun fact.
I think it's probably one of the most interesting one of all the ones that we've heard so far. Yeah, sure.
So before you got that whole opportunity, how did you get into interior designing to begin with? Is it something you always wanted to do?
Well, I say Whitney Houston was born to sing, and David Beckham was born to kick, and I was born to design.
David Beckham was born to kick.
Or just stand there looking good in his underwear. But it's one of those things. When I was a little girl, I remember being in my mom's room when she would make the bed, and I would fluff her pillows, and I would they have to be perfect. Or I remember staying at my babysitter's house, and her chair wasn't turned the right way, and I would move it the right way. And it was just one of those things about me that I felt like I just had to get it right. I wanted to fix things, and I always the kind of person who's sitting in a meeting going, oh, that shelf should be hung a different way, or that picture's too high, or whatever. So it's just become one of those things that I think was part of my neuroses. I was probably crazy and didn't realize it, but it just became a thing, and I started to really hone in on it. My very first babysitting job I made $25. I'll never forget it. I was about 13 years old, and we had just moved to a new house. And so I asked my mom, can you take me to Home Depot? And she was like, what? And I went and bought a gallon of paint. And I'll never forget, I was sitting in my room that night, and she bought all the paint supplies, and I painted my entire room turquoise, watching Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Oh,
Isn't that crazy? So I think it was just one of those things that I always really enjoyed, and my parents were cool enough to let me practice.
Just kind of
do my thing. And the next morning she was like, I really like it in here. It looks great. So she went and bought me a bed set, and I got to redo my room.
Oh, nice.
My first big girl room.
Awesome.
From a young age.
I was young, but I didn't know it was a career at the time. In that day and age, we're talking the early 90s. I didn't realize that was a career opportunity. Yeah. And I'll never forget, I remember designing women on TV.
Yes, I do.
That was the first time I realized that you could actually do what I was doing for a living.
Yeah.
So I remember then thinking, oh, this has the potential to do something. And I love designing women.
Yeah,
it's still today one of my favorite shows on television.
Okay, so you've had businesses, you've opened businesses both in Hawaii and California, correct? Okay, so tell us a little bit about that. How did you first, end up in California, then to Hawaii, and then back to California.
Okay. So I had a boyfriend in college, my very first boo, and he wanted to do voiceovers in New York, in California. And so I said, well, you know what? I'm going to go with you. And I was in college at the time. I was in my second year of college, and I had gone to design school. Yeah. Actually, let's back up a little bit.
Okay.
In high school, I got into graffiti. I had a graffiti crew. And we were cool. We were doing all things graffiti.
Wait, I just want to interject because you said that, and I kind of was talking to Matt about this, and I know he kind of said, whatever he said, I won't say but I saw this video that you had out, and you talked about the whole graffiti thing, and it brought me back. Like I thought it was like the coolest thing, and then you were standing in front of like this whole cement block, and it was like all the.
I know.
Okay, I'm sorry. You said what you said, and it just kind of like brought that image into my mind, and so
we'll have to post
kind of
that. Gosh. Me too. I'm getting nervous when you talk about it. I'm such a geek. Well, so I had this, God, what can you say? An Oklahoma graffiti crew. Because I'm originally from Oklahoma City, so I went to an art school there, or high school there, and we had all these cool international students that would come, and I wanted to be anything that they wanted to do. And they were from Germany and France, and they have a big graffiti scene there. They don't have a big graffiti scene in Oklahoma. Not, at least they didn't. They do now, because my friends and I, we just bombed the city. That was our thing. We would go every night. We go out and paint a mural or paint a.
So you were tagging walls.
Tagging walls. I like to paint murals. We're painting murals. I never went to jail, so I think it's art.
Okay.
And so my vision was I had this cool souped up Honda Civic, back in the day with the Fast and Furious kind of thing, and I had put all my money into it, and I was going to sell that and travel the world with my new European friends and do murals and become an artist. And my mom was like, "Oh no, honey." Yeah, but she was like, "No, girlfriend, you're taking your ass to college." So I was like, okay, well, how can I go to college and still be able to do the things that I wanted to do? Like I knew I had a passion for design, but again, coming from Oklahoma, I didn't think that I had the resources that would kind of get me where I wanted to go. And then I was just kind of overwhelmed with the aspect of what that even meant for me in terms of leading a career in it. I knew I could probably be an artist, but was I going to pay the bills for me, So I took my love for art, and they had an option for interior design at my local college, so I went to school for interior design. I was starting my business. So let me give your listeners a little tip. Sometimes you got to fake it till you make it. And so what I did was, because I wasn't an official interior designer, because I hadn't graduated yet, and I didn't even know what that meant at the time, I just made business cards. I asked my mom to buy me business cards for Christmas, and I decorated them, designed them all up and had them. They were really nice. And I just bought business cards, and I would hand them out anywhere I went. If I was at Home Depot and someone was picking out a finish, I'd hand them a card and say, hey, let me help you with your kitchen.
So this is before you had like a legitimate business. Okay.
Yeah, well, I made a legitimate business out of an illegitimate business. You know what I mean? Like, I figured, who's going to tell me no? Who's going to tell me I can't do it? I mean, sometimes not all businesses need a brick and mortar. You don't have to have an establishment to become a business. And so, I mean, I made a lot of mistakes. I messed up a lot of stuff along the way. Going back and looking back, I wish I could have done some things differently. But I got to tell you, sometimes faking it helps you make it. Yeah. And so that was my biggest lesson, and that's how I became a business owner. A legitimate business owner.
And then so you made it onto all these great shows also.
Yeah.
And so once you got on those shows, or before you got on those shows, how did you outshine other designers to get those different positions?
Well, I'll tell you what. So when it was time when I did finally graduate and I needed a job, I finally had some things on my resume, because while I was in college, I was painting murals for people's baby nurseries, or helping people redesign their homes and finishing their projects. So I had some actual legitimate clout once I did graduate, and so I went looking for a job. And my very first job was actually working it was sort of like an Uber service for interior designers. It doesn't exist anymore, but it was called The Designer's Eye, and it was basically like you'd go into this website and you'd find it was kind of like a Facebook for designers and people who wanted designers. So I had actually gone out and done some really intense projects. So I had some great things in my portfolio. And then I went to find another job. That business kind of fizzled out quickly. And so I went and looked for a job, and I actually got hired as a lead designer for the model home design company. And so that really gave me, again, I was building my portfolio all the while not realizing that I had a portfolio to build. And when I found that opportunity on Craigslist, I think it was sort of like, kismet meeting reality, because I was able to finally actually have something tangible to show somebody, so I guess preparation met opportunity. That's what it is, right?
Yeah,
I think that's what it is. And so I honestly don't remember my audition for Craigslist because I remember walking in and I remember things happening and sort of having an out-of-body experience and then leaving like, holy cow, what the heck just happened? Yeah, I knew something great happened, but I didn't know what. And I was like, I didn't even realize what this show was about because in actuality, the ad was for a Trading Spaces like show. So they were trying to rework the option or the idea of Trading Spaces. So in my head, it was like sort of a spinoff. So I was like, whatever just happened was great, but I really wish it was something as great as Trading Spaces, and it turned out to really be actually Trading Spaces. I like to think that life has a way of unfolding itself in the way that it's meant to be.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, I've made a lot of mistakes growing up and dealing with clients and stuff that helped me to get where I am today, you know. I was actually recounting a story of when I had gotten fired one time from a job, and I was brokenhearted, you know, because I thought, well, how could you fire me? I'm great. But I got to tell you, it was the most valuable lesson I ever learned because from being fired, I learned, you know, that sometimes you can stand in your own way. Sometimes you can be your own worst enemy.
Right.
And so it was a check. You had to check yourself before you wreck yourself, huh? Well, I got to reckon. But now I'm checked.
No, and I think some of the best value or the best lessons come from not necessarily failures, but you know what I mean. Different things.
You might have been stuck there and never left.
That's exactly the point.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hi, Nancy.
Oh God, Nancy.
How she gets a load of me now?
Tisk tisk. I was actually watching the FABLife.
Oh
right?
yeah.
And I was trying to actually find that particular show because I didn't want to like misquote.
Okay.
But I recall that you guys were doing a segment and you know Tyra was there and I think at one point she mentioned that you were maybe doing interior design for her.
Yes, I designed.
So I didn't make that up in my head.
No. I designed her entire home. That's correct. You didn't make it up. What are you talking about?
And so and in it, I forget how it came up, but somehow it came out that, you know, you were, at the time, I don't think you were working or you were broke or whatever the situation was, but and you were doing this design for free just because you thought that it was an opportunity to something else.
That's absolutely true. You know, actually, I was working broke, which means paying the bills, but I wasn't balling.
That's exactly what you said.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
and so, I mean, at the time, I had actually moved to Hawaii. I lived in Los Angeles, but I decided one day I'm going to move to Hawaii, and I just want to try something new. And I did that. And then, through that process, Tyra came about, and this whole process came about, and she called me and said, I'd really love for you to do my home. Well, I was at the time owning 2 businesses, and one was actually an establishment, a furniture store, so all of my additional money was thrown into that. I mean, it's expensive to own a business, and it is a constant expense.
Yes,
it's never like you pay for it and it's over. Yeah. And so to say that I was broke, well, I was working people broke, you know, where you're like, don't have
I relate to that.
$1,000. In other words, you can't donate your services to someone who's not broke at all. You know what I mean? It was a very humbling experience because to know that someone of that magnitude who has millions of dollars and you're like, no, girl, I'll do it for free. I love you so much. You're like, could you throw me $1,000? $1,000 will make a huge difference in my day to day. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But I didn't want to look thirsty, and more importantly, I wanted to create a relationship.
Right.
And sometimes when you're building a business, you have to sometimes it's about being a little more humble. I mean, you always want to ask for what you're worth, but at that point, I couldn't have put a price tag on something, some opportunity like that, and I didn't even feel comfortable throwing a number out to someone that. I just didn't want to look thirsty. I don't know how to say it any other way. I just wanted to really show that
you were grateful for the opportunity to even do that. You know, the fact that she even considered you as the designer to go to say, "Can you do my home?" Like, you know what I mean? Like that's
and then like to let the work speak for itself.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's exactly right. And you know what? The work did speak for itself. And at the end, I got a very lovely chick. Thank you, Tyra Banks. But that's the lesson. I mean, sometimes you do have to eat a little crow, and you know what I mean, and do and make a sacrifice for the betterment of your own, you know, future. And I really did, and that was a lot of work, and it was a long period of time, and I was flying back and forth from Hawaii to LA to work on that project. But it was the most fun I've ever had in a project because she's very fun and she has a great budget. She's not like my girlfriends and I when we're like, $25. What can I do with this? So
how are we going to split this meal, guys?
Exactly. But I think that's the valuable lesson is like I was trying to say, sometimes you get an opportunity and you got to really take it and you know, make it the best you can and try to work for it. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Working broke. That's a new category.
Yes. Sure, many people can relate to that. And on our show, we have a lot of entrepreneurs who listen who are just starting out and kind of, trying to make their business work. So do you have any advice for those people to get to the top or make their way to be more known or more successful?
Absolutely. I love to utilize all of my resources in terms of advertising. Advertising for me was one of the biggest issues of my business because you can have the best business on earth, but if people don't know about you, then they're not going to be able to utilize your services. So for me, as an interior designer,
sorry, I felt like a fuzz fly.
It's probably my vest.
It's okay.
You still like it?
Actually, I love it.
I can see. I know it's flying because it's stuck to my lipstick too. I have on a very Anna Nicole Smith vest today, y'all.
Beautiful.
And it is acting a fool, shedding like crazy over here. Sorry. So utilizing your resources, and one of the things that I did, it didn't matter, even to this day, I would probably still do it, but I advertised through Craigslist. I used every free resource I could where people could see my name through whether it be Craigslist or Groupon was a great source. I mean, Groupon is a great advantage for people who are starting a business because it allows you to advertise your business to a core group of people who are interested in services through one company, and they don't make you pay up front. So I advertised my business through Groupon as an interior designer when I moved to Hawaii. Let me tell you about this real quick before I go into that. I went to Hawaii on vacation, and I decided I'm going to move there. I'm just going to give it a shot. And I did a couple of really cool things that helped me allow to live there very well, and I think that everyone should know about them. And number one was I saved up enough money to rent a 2-bedroom apartment, and that was because I Airbnb'd the second bedroom.
Oh, that's smart.
It was very smart, but I'll tell you why. Because I made so much money on my Airbnb that I would pay $400 a month to live in a high-rise in Hawaii, overlooking the ocean. It was very smart, and so those are things that you can do to help yourself to get a one-up in your business, even if you're living in an apartment in Jersey. Get a 2-bedroom apartment so you can rent that other bedroom out, so you can save some money, so you can invest in your business.
I actually know people that do that.
Yeah.
The whole Airbnb thing.
I've stayed at Airbnb.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They're awesome.
You know what? I think I've lived in New York too long because I am skeptical of everyone and everything.
You're not going to meet the coolest people, girl.
Really?
There's no murderers or killers on there.
No, they have reviews and everything.
Yeah, they get reviews. I mean, you jump in a cab and don't care, do you?
So yeah, I guess it is kind of.
You open the door for the pizza man, don't you?
I do, actually. Once a week.
Exactly. I did it last night. So
I see your point.
Yeah,
okay.
but these were vetted.
Let loose, relax a little.
You'd answer an ad on Craigslist, wouldn't you? Okay, there you have it. So that's what I did. But so to save money, I did that. But then I utilized my resources in Groupon. Going back to that, allowed me to advertise my business in a way that I didn't have to pay up front for the advertising costs. I didn't have to put it in a newspaper or a magazine or any of those other things that would cost me thousands and thousands of dollars, and it's only one to that one publication. And so that was a great way to utilize it. And I went from having 30 clients to having 1,400 in a matter of a year and a half.
Wow.
That's
a good marketing tool.
It's a great way to do it. And like I said, if you don't have something that a tangible item that you're selling, or that's actually going to cost you money, but if you're offering services or some type of your time, Groupon is a great way to help further your business that way.
Yeah. So tell us what it's like working with Tyra Banks, Chrissy Teigen, Ashley,
my boo,
Josie.
Josie, he's my baby. He's actually here in New York City right now. Hi, Joey. It's amazing. It is a dream come true. Tyra is an incredible force to be reckoned with and such a strong businesswoman and so admirable in so many different ways. Yeah. And to have her recognize your talent too is humbling. I mean, it's made me cry a couple of times. Give me a cocktail, I'll be really crying. But she's amazing and incredible and so talented and so smart. And it's just a pleasure to work with her. And Chrissy is hilarious.
Oh my gosh. I don't know her. I'm saying it like I know her personally.
You're like, I
know.
She is beyond a dream. I mean, so funny, so much fun, and so talented too. I mean, I was thinking the other day, what would make the perfect woman? And it is talent, beauty, intelligence, kindness, and she is all those things in one. And then Leah she's my ace. She's my number one because we actually started our audition process together on the very same day. So we started out together.
Went through the journey.
The entire journey together. Yeah. So she is my sister from another mister, and her baby is my little boo. I mean, I have to kiss him every day. I go in her room and kiss him. He's wonderful. And Joe he's like the brother I never had. I actually think we're twins because I always say gay men and black women are twins, and Joe and I are exactly like He is the funnest person ever on earth and so smart. I mean, he's so humble and such a good person. And the fact that he knows every superstar on earth. Last week we went to a party, and me and Joe and Kris Jenner and Cindy Crawford were there. Yes, I said those two names. And then me and Joe and Cindy and Chris were all hanging out in the corner together. And I was like, is there a photographer
Just
around?
sipping on some wine.
Is there a photographer around to take this moment? But it didn't matter. That's how cool these people are. And we've really become a family and so excited to just get to know each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bond that I don't think will ever change.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a fun show. You broadcast on TV different design solutions. So since ours is a radio show, we were kind of wondering if it was to be on radio, how would you translate different design solutions via radio? Because it's kind of how you can't see it.
I know, and design is such a visual thing. But there are some certain things that I can tell your listeners right now that will really help.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah.
You know, I talk about affordable luxury, and for me, what that means is being able to save as much of your money as you can and still be able to live really well. And I think a lot of people can do that. And there are certain easy things that you can do right now in your home that don't cost any money, and you don't have to see me demonstrate right here, but you can do it at home. Like, for instance, I tell people, hanging your pictures at the right level can make a big difference. So design is a lot of times about proportion, and it's about balance. So if you have, and especially here in New York City, these really tall ceilings, and even yesterday I was at my girlfriend's house and her pictures are hung really high and her sofa's really low, so there's this really weird void in the middle. So I tell people, hang your pictures at about 60 inches. The middle of the picture should be about 60 inches. That's a museum. That's how they hang them at the museum. So that's a good tip, is just hang your pictures
60 inches from the
floor
Oh.
to the middle of the picture should be about 60 inches.
Okay.
So once you find that point, then just hang the picture adjusted accordingly, and that'll help you to really create some balance.
I'm gonna go home and check that out.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that my pictures are.
I always do them too high.
I think so. I do the same thing.
Everybody does. It's a common mistake, so that's one thing too. Another way to kind of change up your space, and I call this the free design redesign, is sometimes, now I'm getting caught up in this fuss.
Oh, hey.
Yes. Sometimes too, even like reimagining your own space. I know when I move into an apartment and I've seen like the spots on the floor and the carpet where the other people's furniture was, people commonly put their furniture there because that's where the other person put their furniture there too. But you can sometimes even reimagine your space, and I often tell my clients, move some of your furniture around. Just take your sofa off the wall and float it in the middle of the room and live with it for 2 weeks, because it takes about 2 weeks for you to get used to it. Exactly. And then that's a great way to change something up in your own space if you just want to see a new, re-envision
just a little change.
Just a little change. Also, too, hanging your curtains a little higher than the window. A lot of times when you have a window, you just hang the curtains
you
right
can see
at
the
it.
sill a little bit on the top. The top sill,
Yeah, if you can.
So go above.
Go above. If you have really long curtains, you can find some really cheap ones at a place that rhymes with Makk. They're really long and they're really cheap. And hang your curtains higher than the window, like all the way to the ceiling if you can, and even out about 10 inches out a little bit, so that way it makes the window feel bigger and your space feels taller and longer in the room. So it's about proportion. It's kind of like the difference between wearing a pair of jeans that actually fit and a pair of jeans that's like 2 inches too short. Does that make sense? It's about proportion. So you just really want to play with those things. And last but not least, if you can
although people are wearing their jeans 2 inches short now.
Well, now that's kind of cool. It ain't cool in curtains, honey. And last but not least, if you can do nothing else, this is a very important thing, just keep your house clean. It makes people feel that you've taken good care of your home and that it's very well organized. And I don't mean clean to the point where you can eat off the floor, but just things put away, you know, things organized effectively, and that's the best tip I can give you, if nothing else.
Awesome. Those are super helpful, especially via radio. You can just get good tips.
I was going to say, go clean your house now.
It's true.
I need to go clean my house.
I often need to clean my house too. I'm famous for like taking my clothes up in the morning.
Oh my gosh. My living room is like my new closet. Okay, I'm saying that out loud.
I know. I'm just trying to say it. But if you go home and clean up your house, there's something about a clean house that makes your life feel better.
It's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I feel like that when I clean the bathroom, which is the place I clean most often. I go and I'm like, oh.
Exactly. It's true. But doesn't it feel good? My mom told me one time, she said, this house is mine. I own this house. But this box, she handed me a box. She said, that's yours. You can be as messy as you want to in this box. So that's something that I've adopted in my life. Is like I have a bunch of messy boxes. Like stuff is piled and junked up in there, but it looks clean when the boxes are all cute and lined up. You know what I mean? And I buy decorative boxes from like Ross, and you know they're like $5.99. Put all my jewelry and junk in there, and I don't have to see it, and it looks cute, and it's a mess inside.
Yeah. No, I like that idea. Do that, and it helps to make things look organized too.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what would you say is your biggest accomplishment to date? Like if you have to choose one thing out
Not
of
going
all.
to jail? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, yeah. It's
I'm
definitely
kidding. It is real. My biggest accomplishment to date, I have to tell you, owning a store and maintaining that was, for me, a really huge accomplishment. It was a dream of mine. When I moved to Hawaii, again, I had 1,400 clients in 2 years after the course of my first 2 years. And I realized that after that, I'm like, well, I can't keep going to the same stores. It's Home Depot, it's, Lowe's and all these other places. So I decided to open my own furniture store.
Yeah.
And that was a big undertaking because I had to get all this money to start the business and buy the inventory and all this stuff, and it was really intensive. And I gotta say, it was just reaching that goal, succeeding that goal was really, really made me feel so valiant, because you can dream something, but then when you actually do it and it's actually yours, it's great.
And you're able to maintain it.
And able to maintain it. We kept the doors open 2 years running. We actually opened 2 businesses, 2 stores for it.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It was
great.
really good.
Yeah.
It was also, you also got to be careful what you wish for. It was a lot of freaking work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but other than that, I think that's a big accomplishment. And I know being in television is incredible too. Don't get me wrong, but just even making your own, setting and succeeding your own personal goals has been a really big pride of mine.
Yeah, that's a super great accomplishment. You've done so much since then also, but kind of what are you looking forward to in the future? Are there any projects you want to shout out that we should be looking forward to?
Well, I think as I'm sitting here with you recanting my last 33 years, I have no idea what the hell is coming up. There's so many great things that are in the works and cooking up right now, through editorial opportunities and more television opportunities that we're working on, and hopefully marrying Trevor Noah, if I can, or Dwayne Johnson. He's my other boo.
Oh, wait, isn't Dwayne Johnson married?
He's not married. He's just got a baby mama.
He's still up for grabs.
Lawrence.
I'm willing to overlook the newborn baby.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so on Y-CLAD CHAT we broadcast on business news that applies to lifestyle, fashion, events, that kind of thing. So there are like a series of questions that we just like to leave off with.
I love it.
Okay, good.
Oh, so it's like rapid fire?
Kind of.
Okay.
So what's the most memorable event that you've ever attended and why?
It was the daytime Emmys. We actually presented to Steve Harvey. I should have screwed it up and not said Steve Harvey. But actually, the most memorable event part was I am in love with Mario Lopez. He was my heart high school.
Growing up.
Yes.
Melrose 90210.
No, Saved by the Bell.
Oh, wait, no.
What's later?
I'm getting things confused. It's just age.
Yes, he's my boo. And he was backstage presenting right before, so we were back there getting ready, and I had this big, fancy, beautiful dress, personally custom designed for me by Ari South, and I was in the back, and I was like pulling all the necessary parts and pieces and shoveling the 2 ladies into their necessary corners. And just at that moment, as I have my hand in my shirt full of boo, in comes Mario Lopez, and I was like, ooh, hello. And yeah, I wanted to die and cry. So that was my most memorable event, and it was really, really awesome.
It sounds very memorable.
Yeah, it was really awesome. It was awesome.
Oh, that's so funny. And do you have 3 joy or accessory essentials that you think every woman should own, or that you never leave the house without?
I do, of course. Well, I love a great pair of studs. I think it's important to always have an earring. For me, it just makes me feel finished in my outfit. I love stud earrings. I love my watches. I got to know what time it is, even though it's never at the right time because I'm always everywhere. Thank you, guys. And a good handbag. I think a good handbag is always essential for a lady to keep her necessities in, most importantly.
So you're definitely like a girly girl.
I'm a total girly girl.
Okay.
Shamefully so.
Okay.
And I'm known for my nails. I don't have them on right now, but I love my nails done.
Yeah. Well, this is pretty.
No. If you watch my Instagram, I am like known for having long claws, lots of sparkles. But I just took them off last week because now I need a new job.
Okay, so are you a lip gloss or a lipstick girl?
Lip gloss.
Okay.
Because I can't wear lipstick because I touch my face and then I have red stuff all over the place.
Oh, no.
That's what happens to me.
And then finally, do you have a favorite accessory or jewelry designer?
Does Claire's Boutique count? I'm just kidding.
It counts.
Y-CLAD, of course. Hello.
Wait, you heard it here first. No, I'm kidding.
Hello, that's my favorite jewelry.
Oh my God. Well, thank you. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us.
A lot of fun.
Oh my
Giving
God.
your tips.
Good.
So much info.
I hope
know.
so.
The energy was just amazing. Like we really try to do that because it's like, it's a business show. So, but we try to keep it as fun as possible, so we're not people are not snoozing or hitting the dial.
I agree. I gotta tell you, it's being your own best PR person, your own hardest worker is your best advice, and I hope everyone out there who's working on their own businesses is encouraged by any information I was able to give them.
Okay, I'm sure they were.
You're gonna make it. Just keep going.
Yeah, keep going. I agree. So, but if anyone wanted to, like, I don't know, follow you on social media,
Sure.
are there any handles you want to provide or anything, any information you want to tell the listeners?
Absolutely. Please do follow me, and you're always welcome to ask me questions or anything. I'm happy to help. It's at Lauren Makk. That's LaurenMakk. 2 Ks because I'm ghetto. At Yahoo. Oh, not at Yahoo. I'm sorry. At all of my social media handles. Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Yay! Love it. Thank you so much, you guys. If ever you're back in town, I hope you come back.
I
and
will.
Swing by and chat it up with us.
I would love to.
Thank you.
So we are back with the designer feature of the day, which is the Fancy Saturn necklace by Officina Bernardi. Casey is wearing it today.
Yay.
Looks super cute on her outfit. And it's a platinum and 18 karat white gold mix over silver sterling pendant, and it has moon cut beads, so it's part of our moon cut collection.
Yes.
And it's about 18 inches long. Can you adjust it in the back?
Yes, it has an adjuster.
Okay, great. Those are my favorite just because it depends on the cut of the shirt you're wearing.
You can go longer or shorter.
Exactly, so that's super important. And handcrafted and detailed, made in Italy, which is awesome if you want a little chic Italian piece. And you can get it on Y-CLAD.com. It's super fun, classic piece, I would say, if you want to pair it with any color.
Yeah, and what I like about this particular necklace is just like you said, it's classic in the sense of, it looks really nice. I've worn it with a t-shirt or a tank top in the summer, and you can wear it. It can, go with something super classy, dressy. It can, be dressed up or dressed down. So it's an ideal piece. So yeah, so go get yours at Y-CLAD.com, like Kaylin said. Okay, so we're gonna jump right into the news and the events for this week. First, I just have to say, like, how amazing was was our interview with Lauren Makk? It was so much fun, right?
Now I'm going to go home and reevaluate my apartment.
I know. It's so funny that you're saying that because, like, the whole time my brain kept going. And I was like, wow, I need to do this. Okay, and so today in retail news, we've been following the story for a while now and reporting on it for, I want to say, maybe a couple months.
Yeah, definitely.
On and off. So after Doug Charney's last attempt to gain back his company was unsuccessful, American Apparel has since emerged from Chapter 11 as a private company. On January 27th, Delaware Bankruptcy Court approved American Apparel's request to reorganize and form a private company. As previously reported, American Apparel filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in October after struggling with poor sales and losses amid a protracted conflict with Doug Charney. Now, Doug, like I said, we've been kind of like we've been talking about this for months now. But Doug Charney is actually the founder of American Apparel. Unfortunately, he has lost
to the curb.
So Charney has filed a number of lawsuits against the company and accused executives of conspiring against him after he was fired in 2014 amid allegations of his misconduct, but was unsuccessful on all attempts. Under American Apparel's reorganization plan, the company secured lenders will convert $230 million of bonds into equity, provide $40 million of exit capital, and commit to a $40 million asset-based loan.
Wow, so we had a lot of changes going on for sure.
Yeah, I guess, for them, they feel like, what, if we're going to start over, we might as well start over.
Yeah, change things up.
Yeah.
Also in the news, this is fun, Macy's has partnered with Awesomeness TV to debut In Awe of You, which is a lifestyle brand aimed at Generation Z, which is the post-millennials, or plurals. I guess I'm not a part of that group, unfortunately. But the line features coquettish dresses, trendy clutches, and other more whimsical accessories, nail decals, mobile chargers, temporary tattoos.
And quite honestly, I feel like that's what this generation is all about now. It's like everything social, so you have to look good for all the social things that you're doing, whether it's a selfie, an Ussie like we just did with Lauren, and for whatever the occasion.
I've never heard the term Ussie until
really.
Yeah, see, I'm behind on something.
Well, here's the thing. I see it as U-S-I-E, and I didn't know if it was pronounced Ussie or Usi, and so I said it both ways, and they were like Ussie.
Ussie makes sense because it's like us.
Yeah, well,
I don't know what Usi would be. I don't know what that would be.
Okay, so in today's events, JA New York is back. As you guys know, we have this event at least, is it 3? It's either 3 or 4 times a year. So March 13th through the 15th at the Jacob Javits Center right here in New York City. Will be JA New York. And for those of you who are not familiar with the JA show, it's the leading jewelry trade show event ever. Well, at least here in the United States. It includes roughly 550 of the world's finest jewelry brands, designers, and suppliers representing the full spectrum of market categories and product choices. So if you're interested in going, if you're a retailer, you need to be going to this, and so you can just head over to ja-newyork.com to register.
Another fun event coming up is the Winter Daylife pop-up at the Lowline Lab. And Daylife, they usually bring Lower East Side vendors in one spot, normally outdoors, but it's way too cold right now, so it's not happening outdoors. It's actually going to be a pop-up at the Lowline Lab, which is on 140 Essex Street. And there's going to be local foods there and the lab's virtual outdoor reality. I don't know if that's, so they're going to pretend to make it seem like it's outdoors.
Right, so we can post this online too, but it looks fun. It looks more beautiful than the outdoors really
awesome.
Look. So it's like you're walking through like this huge, it seems like a tunnel-like thing, and you see trees, you see birds, you see just outdoorsy stuff, but then there's like all these vendors lined up selling food, clothing, jewelry, different things. So it's like normally they have this during the nicer seasons, and they don't usually do it in the winter. And they thought, okay, well maybe if we bring it indoors and bring the outdoors indoors, then we can do
it's a fun way to change it up too from the normal event.
It sounds cool.
And some of the vendors that are going to be there are Saxby Cheesemongers, Osaka Grab, Davidovich Bakery, Puebla Mexican Food, the Arancini Brothers, and a lot more. So it's on Sunday, February 21st from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. I will probably go.
I was just going to say, maybe we should make this because it's a Sunday.
I'm in the city Sundays already, so
I
might as well just go. It sounds a lot.
We should talk about that.
Yeah, it'd be really fun. So I can report back if I do go.
Okay, guys, so that ends the show. I feel like it went so quickly. No, just 1, 2, 3, and it's over. You blink and it's done. Oh, God. So anyway, we just want to thank you for listening and for sharing your time with us. Until next time, have a great rest of the week, and remember, love life and wear it well. Good night, guys.